All right, and with all that said, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting, action packed episode of Lorenzo Sitting at His Desk. We are going on today. Is it day 9? Oh, wait, actually, we're not at day 8. We're at day 9 of working on BrickBob Films, the camping episode. We... It's this one. Going to give everyone a few minutes to jump in, and I'm going to be discussing the game plan for today. Please tell me that the chat is working. Yo, what's going on, guys? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, we're good. Okay, so just a breakdown of what we're doing today. We are at my desk because we are going to continue working on the sea bear. See him down there. Our progress from last week's stream. There we go. Looking pretty good. I feel like if I were to do an episode with King Neptune in it, I would want to make him in clay animation. Kind of like in Sponge on the Run, that merman guy. I don't even remember what his name was, but he looked like he looked like almost he was done in clay animation. I was like, that would be so cool. I'm gonna pop out the chat so I can look over here. Oh boy. But yeah, so we have a special little development with the sea bear that I'm going to get into right now. So, continuing work on the sea bear today. Last Wednesday, I began work on the sea bear, and I was kind of feeling it out. So, this was the progress that we had. We got started on the body, and of course, the head, and an alternate mouth, and started another mouth. So I I was doing a lot of thinking from the last stream about how to move forward with the sea bear, how to animate it, because I knew that I would have to try out a few things to figure out what approach I wanted to do for the sea bear. So what I have ultimately decided to do is take a little bit of a different approach to the sea bear than we've started. So I'm going to show you guys some sketches that I just did. I'm going to put them up on screen. My encoder. Okay, wait. Hopefully this works. Kind of a new vision for the sea bear that I'm going for, taking a little bit of creative liberty. Yo, what's up, everyone? Thanks for joining. Now, I'm excited to take this new approach with the sea bear. I'm going to show you guys right now. Come on. Okay, this should be it. All right, wait, hold on a second. A little jump scare. I don't know why it has to fill the screen by default. Yo, thanks for pulling up, everybody. Yeah, so let's go into this for a bit. So I expressed, can I, that's better. So I expressed in our previous stream that I wanted to do the sea bear animated top down on a sheet of glass over a blue screen, green screen, to be keyed out and composited in post. Exact same method used for Mr. Magic for BrickBob Films Hocus Pocus last year. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go after the stream, of course. go onto my channel homepage, this channel, Lorenzo Volpentesta, and you can find the raw animation footage of Mr. Magic without being implemented into BrickBob films. It's really cool looking. It's a really, really cool, nifty little method for getting a different style of animation composited into the footage. What was great about Mr. Magic was I could move him as freely as I wanted to without having to worry about rigging him in the shot, navigating lighting around, having a rig off screen. It's pretty difficult doing rigs purely because of the shadows. Yeah, you guys, I made him creepier. What I actually did was for the sea bear here, I took. Wait, can you guys see my mouse? Okay, you can see my mouse. So what I did was I kind of based the body off of a piranha and incorporated it into the design. Because the problem with this, what I made right here, is I tried so hard. Boop. I tried so hard to replicate what was done in the original cartoon, and I don't think it translated very well. Granted, this is done with modeling clay. This is everlasting Van Aken plastilina, what I usually use to animate. Excellent for animation, but I feel like I'm trying to go for a different look. I expressed in my previous stream that I wanted to have a tangible statue of the sea bear that I could keep as a film prop after filming concluded. Because I really want to have more props from my films going forward, you know? Because yeah, it does look like Play-Doh, and it's like the Play-Doh look can really work. It does have its place, and I love how bright and colorful and easy to work the clay is. But for the sea bear in particular, I came to the conclusion that I need to redo the body completely. First reason is I don't like how this looks. I'm gonna be straight up. I just don't like how this looks. The shape is very, very, very geometric. It's just a straight up oval. And I don't like how the patterns translated onto the the piece. Just using the Van Aken plastilina and kind of making it into a pattern. It's not what I'm going for. I have a vision in my head that did not quite materialize in this first iteration. So instead of making a a Van Aken plastilina clay puppet that's going to be taken apart and scrapped and never seen again after filming, instead of doing that, I decided I'm going to make a hard puppet for the sea bear that I can also animate. So what we are going to do here, we're going to replace this body with a baking clay model. This whole body right here, I'm going to show you this alternate version, as you can see right here. The blue, highlighted blue, is going to be hard clay. The pink is soft clay. The pink clay will be done with Van Aken plastilina. Exact same principle like this. And the hard clay is going to be done with Super Sculpey Firm. I'm going to sculpt it, I'm going to bake it, I'm going to paint it. That will achieve the look that I'm going for more closely. And it's going to be animatable on a two-dimensional plane. The thing was, I thought that I was going to have to make a separate puppet that I would use for another shot, like 3D. Excuse me, it's kind of hard to describe it in person, but I figured instead of doing a, what is it, just a Van Aken plastilina puppet and having to make a whole separate one just for a film piece, there's got to be a way to combine those two. So I think I found a way. So today we are going to be making the hard body for the sea bear. And afterwards, we're going to make the head and the arms. And the best part is I can actually make a wire insert in the hard clay to mount the head on. Because that's the other thing. It's like when you're animating on glass, some animators have multiple layers, but I only have one sheet of glass. I don't have like tiered layers of glass. So I was really concerned about how I could believably get the head of the sea bear onto the body without them like interfering with each other. I want it to organically be imbued into the body. I want it to flow better. And I also want to do as much on camera as possible. I don't want to have to get layers of footage and splice them all together. It's just I don't want to. I think after doing Popeye, I'm just like I'm so exhausted from doing that. It's not the look I'm going for. Okay, so it just so happens I do have a sea rhinoceros drawing as well. So the sea bear, before I get to that, the sea bear has to be animatable the most. Primarily the head, the arms have to move, the rest of the body doesn't have to move. So I figure make the most detailed body possible, have these cartoonish, very expressive clay features done with the plastilina, and the end result should look really good. And as for whether I shoot the sea bear before the remaining Lego footage, I don't really know yet. So taking it a day at a time. But I definitely needed a few days to just kind of sit on this and just think like, how do I like the direction that this is going so far? So let me show you the sea rhinoceros. So the thing about the sea rhinoceros is a little bit weird because he is only on screen for like 5 seconds. Barely does anything. So for me, sculpting this character is really just going to be for fun. I'm going to sculpt him the exact same way as the sea bear. It's going to be, well, this guy's going to be like 99% hard clay. He's going to be painted. He's basically going to be a work of art. But I'll be able to make some, I'm going to make the eyes, maybe the nostrils and the lips. I'm going to do plastilina for that. That way I can get a little bit of movement in the eyes, like a twitch in the eye or movement of the lips, a flare of the nostril. I'll probably take the hair gel for like drool. But I think that these will just be a whole lot of fun to make. And it's going to be the same process as working on the Popeye portrait from our Popeye project. Was that 2 months ago? The time flies so much, but I'm going to show you what we made. Some of you will remember this. So something much more detailed. Gosh, I love the way the physical character catches the light. Never fails to impress me. But yeah, so we're going to make a handmade piece, fully painted. Oh, actually, I'm gonna have to get more. I'm gonna have to get more fixative sealant. I'll have to stop at the art store. This piece is actually for sale, by the way, because like I've said for years, people have asked if I sell props from my films, and I always say no because the clay is just this isn't meant to be sold or put on display. So I wanted to make an effort of being able to integrate more hard pieces because like this is not melting. So I wanted to incorporate more materials into my films that I could sell afterwards. So really, really, really devoted fans could get their hands on a piece of independent animation history. So I'm gonna put this guy away. Let's see. So here's what the vision is. The vision is make this hard body for the sea bear. I'll have the head on top. After I'm done filming with the sea bear, I'm going to make a permanent head that will be fully solidified, and thus it can be put on display. And I think what I'll do is I'll probably get some kind of like a wooden base and like kind of get some screws and just sort of nail him into the... One second, it's falling all over the place. I'll take the body, just kind of screw it into the back plate. That way it could, like, I don't know, be hung up or put on display or just something. Just something to make it presentable as a piece of my filmography that you can own. You know what I mean? Get my water later. So, I have all of my colored clay out here right now, and I have to like put all of it away. This is what we're going to be working with. What's great about this stuff, this is super sculpey firm. It's super easy to work with, holds detail very, very well, easy to paint. It's going to work. Work for Popeye. This will help us achieve the vision that we're looking for. And once again, for the head of the sea bear, I'm just going to take some wires, give him a neck. I'll be able to move the head more easily and freely. So, with all that said, let's get into it. And I'm going to put this here. You know what? I think I'll... Excuse me. I'm going to pull up the animation view. Figure it's a good use for the window. Been used this since day 7. Yeah. Why they make it so big? And this has got to be updated. Give it up for day 9. All right. So with all that out of the way, I am so ready for a nice, pleasant evening of nerd conversation. I think painting... Ah, shoot. Hold on a second. I think painting the sea bear is going to be a lot of fun because I'll be able to do more with the patterns, you know what I mean? All right, have to clear my station. Also, maybe I'll put this like down here a little bit so you can see why I'm doing a bit more. Look at that. There's already green in my hands from that one interaction. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot. You know me, I get caught up in the moment. So, without further ado, this is BrickBob Films, the camping episode. Wait, hold on a second. That ain't right. That ain't right. Gravy. That's better. Camping episode, BrickBob Films, day 9. When I drop the ball, you guys pick it back up. Always. Move these. Yeah, I'll put this in here for now. That'll be destined to become filler clay. So, what I like to do before working with the Super Sculpey Firm is I like to condition it a little bit with this pasta roller thing. I got this before working on, I think, Nanaman. So I've had it for just shy of 10 years. Always, always. Good to have you back. What's everyone been up to since last Wednesday? I thought I would do more streams throughout the remainder of the week, but other stuff came up, and I think I needed a little bit of time to just kind of sit with the sea bear and see what progress we had so far. Because, like, I knew that something wasn't quite clicking, but I couldn't really identify what. And here's the thing, like, with animation, when I'm animating a shot, I can shoot for, like, 8 hours and be fine. Taking breaks only for food or the restroom. But working on a sculpture is really quite different. Let me know if you guys like this shot angle. I have to get a new surge protector so I can plug more lights in and such. This is a new corner. This desk is not motorized. Drives me crazy. Christmas Who will always be my favorite SpongeBob Christmas special. Yeah, that and Don't Be a Jerk, It's Christmas, the Lego music video. But like I was saying about working with the clay, it's like when I'm working on a sculpture, after you work on something for several hours, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to turn on the work clock. Forgot to turn off the clock from earlier when I was doing the character design. Play production. There we go. Yeah, it's just like when you're working with clay for hours and hours and hours on a sculpture, you eventually reach a point where you need to take a break. Like, you become like legitimately blind to certain things. Like, after you're working on the same sculpture for so long, few hours, you have to get up, walk away, and you'd be surprised that when you come back, like you'll be like, oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. That thing that I couldn't figure out. This is how I figure it out. This is what I have to do. It's just like crystal clear. I'm gonna be conditioning this a lot. If I'm not mistaken, the more you condition it, the less prone it is to cracking, like after it's baked. Because I will admit, I have definitely had a big problem with super sculpty firm cracking after it's been baked, which just drives me crazy. What are my thoughts on clay animation of Patchy the Pirate? The one from the Christmas special, I'm assuming. I remember thinking he looked so weird. I'm like, why does his face look like that? They kind of made him look like a chimp. I mean, it's not bad, but I still definitely prefer Patchy the pirate being on camera. Yeah, I when I was young, I had I had a pet bird. I had a pet bird for 10 years, and I felt like Patchy the pirate because I would be doing my work and my bird, his name was Zach. He would drive me crazy because birds are very smart and they learn very quickly how to like push your buttons. Thank you so much. I for the sea bears design, having a little bit more like license over like, okay, I don't want to just recreate the sea bear in clay. I want to go above and beyond and adapt it to my style, because when you're doing a creative business, your creative work should have some kind of like cohesion to the point where people can look at your work and be like, "Oh, Lorenzo made this." And that's when like you have your style, as people say. Like, "Oh, this is this artist's style and that artist's style." Like, so I'm trying to do more of that. And I figure that from what I've done in the past few years with my animation, and particularly with like BrickBob films, like looking back on the clay animation I put in those projects and seeing how they turned out, I'm like, okay, nightmarish, terrifying Squid Bob tentacle pants with bright colors and almost surreal cinematography and editing, which extended into the Popeye project. Oh, you're hosting a reanimated collab? That's sweet. What episode? I know that there was like a reanimated collab of, it was Help Wanted, Band Geeks. I think there was like a remake of the SpongeBob movie, but I didn't watch it. It's all crumbly. Oh, Sleepy Time. So, Sleepy Time, that was one of the first Lego SpongeBob episodes I ever made. It was like one of the earliest ones. And oh my gosh. We'll like have to we'll have to revisit that. I might have to like pull it up here on stream sometime. Not now, but perhaps later. Because I think even the earliest version had clay animation for Plankton. Like I could never picture doing the evil Plankton nightmare sequence with anything other than clay. I remember how proud I was when I made the clay animation sequence for Plankton in 2016 because at the time the Sleepy Time remake was one of the last episodes that I made to close out the show in 2016. And I was so proud of that sequence. Half the scenes are already done? Oh, sweet. Yeah, make that bigger. I remember the opening title card for SpongeBob meets the Strangler. I thought that was like scary. I was like it's so terrifying. But then the episode's just kind of like, goofy and silly despite the subject matter. I'm also surprised that that episode wasn't banned because like it's dark. You're rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want to rewatch Last Airbender. The new movie is it's also reignited my interest in like, oh yeah, I remember watching Last Airbender during COVID and it was really good. I feel like I would have really enjoyed it as a kid, but I don't. The only way I would have properly seen all of it was if we had like DVDs of it, and my mom never got the DVDs. She knew that I liked SpongeBob. You know what I mean? Wait, so how many of you guys have heard about the Last Airbender fighting game that's coming out? The arcade style fighting game. Have any of you guys heard about that? Pull up a separate tab and look up like Last Airbender fighting game if you haven't seen it. Gosh, I'll have to pull that up on stream too. I wish I had a third hand. Make my life a lot easier. Might make animating way easier too. That's another thing that I'll have to like pull up. So here's what happened. I went on a vacation like resort thing a few months ago. So what I'm trying to do is I tend to obsess over work and productivity and all that stuff. A bit of a workaholic. So I'm trying to get into the habit of taking more absences from my office, you know? So I went to this like resort recently and I was just chilling on the bed and there was a trailer for one of the characters, Azula, in the new Airbender fighting game. I'm like, what is this? And I look at it, I'm like, oh shoot, this looks really cool. Yeah, the from what I've seen so far, the animation in the fighting game looks astonishingly close to the show. It's not like it's not like Dragon Ball Fighters where the art style is like people say, "Oh, it looks exactly like the show." Well, no, it doesn't. It's taking all the best parts about Dragon Ball Z and adapting it to the video game engine, and it looks great, but it is very different. But from what I've seen of the Last Airbender fighting game, it's like it looks really, really close to the show. I I'm gonna be following along with it because I really like arcade style fighting games. Dragon Ball Fighters, Guilty Gear, Xrd, Guilty Gear Strive. I've been playing some Smash Bros Melee online. Don't worry, I still shower. But I would very much like to add a new fun arcade style fighting game to the lineup. My main concern is that it's just going to be overpriced and not that fun to play. And the game won't have a very strong online community. So I'm hoping that it turns out to be good. I just can't be pre-ordering big like I don't know if it's AAA, but big release video games. I just can't be pre-ordering stuff. The last game I pre-ordered was such a disaster, and I was like, that's what you get, Lorenzo. You shouldn't have done that. This is what you get for believing in humanity for just a sec. Yet, so entertainment's really weird because entertainment is wonderful and it's a necessity, but at the same time, a lot of entertainment these days is like a TV show for instance. That's a project. That's why I'm like about starting new TV shows because I'm like everything in life is already like an ongoing project and now like a TV show is like okay, I have to get invested into this and I'm definitely more of a film guy. Straw has spoken words of wisdom. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier. Our membership goal, we've hit 4 members thanks to Hexatunes, but for some reason my encoder is not keeps dropping it. Hey, what's up, man? Don't think we've had you in the stream before. We're just getting started. All right. Okay, so right now we have a pile of flat, crumbly clay, but it's going to be conditioned even more. But no, stick around. People are pulling up. We enjoy our nerd discussions, and we all love art. What was the last game I pre-ordered? I'm like embarrassed to say it. Genshin Impact. Nah, I'm just kidding. It was a South Park Snow Day. How many of you guys have heard of South Park Snow Day? Don't know how many South Park fans we have in the stream, but so here's what happened. I think it came out like early 2024. I even bought like the deluxe edition. I bought like the $60 version. I know, Straw, if this is the last time I ever see you in my stream, I would not blame you. But no, here's what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So, as I mentioned, the South Park Snow Day came out, I think it was March 2024. Now keep in mind, the previous year I played South Park The Stick of Truth and South Park The Fractured But Whole. So those games came out long before I got into South Park. I didn't even watch South Park for the first time until like December 2020. It was like the end of 2020. But I always heard about it growing up, and I always heard about the RPGs. But I never played them because I had no connection to South Park at all. So me and my girlfriend played them in 2023. We played them back to back. We played Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole. And I'm not kidding. Those games were like the most fun I have had in a really long time. I'm a big South Park fan. I it's a show that I got into, I think, at the right time in my life. It's Stick of Truth, personally, like I know people really, really, really love Stick of Truth. Personally, I think it's just fine, but Fractured But Whole is amazing. Like that game is so unbelievably good. I think it I think it beats Stick of Truth in like almost every way. I do need to replay Stick of Truth, but Fractured But Whole is just so amazing. It's so amazing that it even gets me to say that combination of words. It sounds like another word. Not yeah. So coming back to Snow Day, I definitely was hoodwinked. I was like, oh well, the the RPGs were great, and it's made by the same developer, I think, South Park Studios or South Park Digital Studios. So I was willing to give them my money, and I was like, okay, let's see how this is. And I'm not kidding you guys. I played the game for like 30 minutes, not even. You have this gut feeling inside of you when you're like, yeah, this isn't for me. I admittedly I didn't think the game looked like too much at a glance, but I wanted to give it a chance. I was looking for like a new online like team based game, pick up and play. But oh my god, a horrifically ugly game. And it's just really boring, really boring. It doesn't hook you, it doesn't engage you. And yeah, that was $60 I'll never get back. And I thought about what the heck was it? There's like this clip in one of the South Park specials. It was the one where they parody Game of Thrones, except for it's the kids fighting about what console to buy, the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox. And Eric Hartman goes up to Stan and is like, pre-ordering games is like when you send money to a bunch of assholes in California who haven't finished a product yet. You know what you get when you pre-order a game? A big dick in your mouth. Pardon my language. But I remember just seeing that and being like, yeah, it's literally what happened to me with South Park Snow Day. I try to keep the swearing to a minimum or a minimal because I am trying to maintain a sense of professionality for the kiddos. Because remember, everybody, everyone in this chat right now, we are a family here at Lorenzo Volpentesta. We are a family channel with family values. We don't do things like swear or cuss or play and review Sven Baumwallen for PC made by the makers of Morhun. Nope, we don't do that. I'm not kidding, if I ever meet Trey Parker and Matt Stone in real life, like at like a film festival or something, because it could happen. I'm making my animated films. I'll make it out there. If I ever see them, I'm gonna be like, guys, South Park like gave me so much hope in life. It's an amazing show. The endless amounts of hours of enjoyment that I've gotten from the show, I can never put into words. I love and respect you guys so much. You guys are brilliant. You guys are amazing and inspire me every day. That said, you owe me $60. That's what I'm gonna say. We are a family here at in my streams. This is a family channel. This past weekend, I was doing so much tedious stuff on the computer. And these streams have become very special for me because, you know, I'm interacting with you guys. But there's just like, what I love about this hands-on stop motion work is that I can put my hands in clay. I can smell stuff. I'm getting my hands dirty. Like I would really like to learn 3D animation, 3D skills. I would love to learn that stuff, but what I love so much about stop motion is you can get your hands dirty. Just so many things that we do in life have been reduced to, like, you know, you're doing it on a screen, but this is kinetic. It's like takes me back to being a little kid. Yeah, so I almost made to answer your question, Aardman Animations. I did almost make a personal film at Aardman Animations. So they have this program. It's like, I'm trying to think what it's called, but what you essentially do is you apply to them with a pitch for a film. This was like one of the first formal pitches that I've ever done, and it was garbage. But you know, I pitched to them, but I ended up having a meeting with the coordinator for it, and we just had the most wonderful meeting ever. We talked at length. We went way over what our scheduled time was. It was great. Seemed like awesome people. You go out there and you make a film at their studio in-house over like a 6-month period. Sounded awesome, but I just couldn't afford it. It was way out of my budget. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, that's also like kind of the tricky thing is like it would have been a great experience, I'm absolutely certain. Oh, there goes my handle. But at the same time, I am making films here in my bedroom for next to no cost at all, you know? Scan my sculptures into 3D. Yeah, if I were to like do if I would want to investigate any 3D techniques, it would definitely be taking my hands-on work and rendering it into like 3D models. I'm gonna look into that. I figure that it would be less time consuming than trying to learn how to do this in a 3D space. Simpsons Hit and Run. I always heard of Simpsons Hit and Run. I heard that was a really good game. I've watched The Simpsons, but I never like watched seasons of it. I saw like a collection of episodes on demand when I was a kid. It was like just like greatest hits episodes. Like they had collections like that. But I never formally sat down and watched The Simpsons and watched the seasons of it. I probably will someday. So right now I'm trying to watch more Bob's Burgers. I'm I'm trying to keep up to date with mainstream animation, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I already avoid a lot of stuff like on the internet. Like I don't want to get too sucked in because then how would I get any work done? But I I on Disney Plus I have started getting back into Bob's Burgers. I think I'm on like season 4 or something like that. I'm sure I'll watch The Simpsons someday. Like that was like the granddaddy of like animated American sitcoms, right? I think the first like show in its genre that I watched animated American sitcom was Family Guy, and that was when I was like 12, and then I watched American Dad. Really liked Family Guy and American Dad when I was a kid, but Family Guy is really easy to watch. It's designed to be like extremely easy to digest. It's kind of like fast food. And I always assumed like the other animated comedies in its variety, like King of the Hill or South Park, would be the same. But lo and behold, for those of you guys who have not seen King of the Hill or South Park, the writing is so different. It's unrecognizable from something like Family Guy. Unrecognizable. Do not be fooled by the similarities that there might be in their conception. They're very different. So right now I'm watching the new season of King of the Hill that just dropped. Just came out like the heck was it? Like I couldn't sleep last night and I was working on something and it was like 4 in the morning. I was like, I give up on sleeping. I'm just gonna Oh wait a minute, it's the 20th. New King of the Hill just dropped. I would love to discuss King of the Hill, but I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. I don't really know if the kids really like King of the Hill, but Mike Judge and his films and cartoons, mostly the cartoons, is something that I got into in the past couple of years. Nickelodeon crossover games. Yeah, so did I buy this? I think I did buy it. I bought this game for the Nintendo Switch in like 2021. It was called Nick All Star Brawl. You know, it had SpongeBob, it had Ren and Stimpy, it had Powdered Toast Man, it had, I don't know, a couple of the Ninja Turtles. I never watched Ninja Turtles. That I feel like that was before my time. Have I seen Idiocracy? Yeah, so Idiocracy, I have seen the beginning of it, but I have not seen the whole thing all the way through. I think I got like halfway through it and I didn't finish it. The opening of it is so amazing, and the rest of it, from what I could ascertain, seemed like a pretty conventional comedy film. But I need to see the whole thing through to the end. But I could recognize some of the voices from like King of the Hill. Like there was a guy that was talking. I'm like, oh, that's Mr. Strickland. Yeah, Mr. Strickland. I I love Mr. Strickland in King of the Hill because he's basically Mr. Krabs if Mr. Krabs was a real person and wasn't in a kid's cartoon. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is way more soft. You guys see this? It was like it was like chalk before, but look at this now. See how look at that. So, one thing that I used to do is like I would really put a lot of strength into the clay, but my advice to all of you if you're working with hard clay is run it through a machine like this, let this do the hard work, save your fingers. I do not have any arthritis, but the more like that you're doing this all the time, you're gonna wear out the lubricant in your hand. Learned that from Aaron Blaze when I went to a like a seminar of his when I went to Animation Y'all. Keep flip flopping between subjects. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, like about Nick All Star Brawl. Like for some reason, like I had this friend who was like, "Oh, Nick All Star Brawl is coming out. Oh, it's gonna be so awesome." Yeah, there was like hype around it, and then I'm playing it, and I'm like, wow, this I would really rather be playing Smash Ultimate right now. Like it really is just Smash Ultimate, just astronomically worse. Such an ugly game. So ugly, not good animation. Art style just sucks. And already I have some problems with like the art style in Smash Ultimate. Mainly how the human anime characters look, but gosh, I was just like, yeah, I remember playing Nick All Star Brawl and being like, really, is this really, is there something I'm missing here? That's why I'm concerned about Airbender, Last Airbender fighting game. Like it's great. I really already the game looks way more beautiful than Nick All Star Brawl could ever hope to be. But I want to wait for the game to come out and for people to actually play it, like real people, not pro fighting game players are being sponsored, not paid reviewers, early access, all that stuff. Like I want it to get into the hands of the people because ultimately when all said and done, regular people have to find the gameplay stimulating. These professional fighting game players, what FGC, granted, I don't know anything about how the FGC works. I watch FGC sometimes, like I watched Dragon Ball Fighters tournaments. I don't really watch Guilty Gear tournaments, but I watch high level gameplay. It's like these these competitive top of the line fighting game players, they play the games that are being supported the most down the road. Like if there's not enough interest in the long term, they're going to drop the game. Like people, they have to play what's being watched, right? PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Yeah, it's just I don't know how many of those Smash Bros like type games can dethrone Smash Bros or escape the being labeled as a Smash Bros clone. There's definitely a prestige to Super Smash Bros. It's a premier franchise. There's an exclusivity to it that's been built up over years. You can't. And not only that, but it has the biggest. It's the game where the biggest staple characters in video games fight. And I don't think that's something that you can just replicate. Like, oh yeah, just get throw together some of our commercially successful first party IPs and oh yeah, there you go. I'm padding this out before I start smoothing it. Did I watch Minions and Monsters? No. I also haven't seen like the other 500 Minions movies. I remember when Despicable Me came out. Liked it. Pretty ugly animation like art style, but you know, it's I liked it as a kid. Saw the sequel, Despicable Me 2, in theaters. That was like 2013, and then Minions just like took over the world for a bit, and then the Minions movie came out. Never saw any Despicable Me material after that. There's I don't know what's going on, but there's been like a lot of popular animated shows. There keep being fighting games, like arcade style fighting games made of them. Like an Invincible fighting game just came out, and there was the Arcane arcade style fighting game. I Me personally, I just think like the Invincible fighting game, from what I've seen of it so far, it just looks so ugly. I don't know what it is for me. Just so many animated, not animated, just fighting games. A lot of 2D arcade style fighting games, they just look so ugly to me. Like the art styles look so bad. And keep in mind that I'm a Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball Fighters fan. I don't play Dragon Ball Fighters anymore. That game is kind of that's something I played when it came out, first three seasons. But once I got on Guilty Gear Strive, I was like, all right, I'm done with Dragon Ball Fighters. Seriously, those games just look so beautiful. Like, ah, oh, they look so magnificent, and they're done in 3D. But yeah, it's just like Like everything, we have so much 3D nowadays, but I do think that you reach a point where, like, keep in mind that this whole 3D animation stuff, animation period, it derives from things like stop motion and cell animation. These were like the templates for those things. And there is a range of expression in cell animation that influences animation from the ground up. And I think when you try to commit so hard to being 3D and being kind of creating laws of physics within these cartoon worlds, you eventually reach a point where you're losing the expression. Like, I want to see stuff that's gonna exaggerate. I want to see something that you can't. I want to see the character do something that a real human can't do. Like, oh, I want to see an arm stretch a little bit too far, or an appendage, or I want someone's eyes to bulge out a little bit too big when they get scared or startled. What's an arena fighter? Are you talking about like Jump Force? I remember when Dragon Ball Fighters was super popular, they a game came out called Jump Force. And I had no interest in buying it, but like it came out and a lot of people were really disappointed. This tail has got to move up. A habit that I tend to do when working on my pieces, a habit that I'm trying to break, is that I can get a little bit too precious. I start like I'll sculpt, I'll add clay and refine at the same time. When really what I should be doing is just kind of establishing the shape first and then smoothing it out from there. Yeah, the human anime characters, anime style characters in Smash Bros just really got on my nerves towards the end. Mainly because the anime style characters, particularly like the Fire Emblem ones, they look so bad in that game. That's how I feel, but like they look so bad in that art style. I'm playing through Final Fantasy VI right now. Here comes the train. Final Fantasy VI was a game that I always wanted to play through. Final Fantasy III in the United States for Super Nintendo, because I heard it was one of the best games ever, and I do think it's really good. I wouldn't say it's like the my favorite RPG I've played so far, but it's got a lot of things I really like about it. I like the fantasy, the art, characters are appealing, the drama. Oh my god. The the opera sequence in Final Fantasy VI, that got me so hard. Just everything about it. Because I watched some opera in my youth, particularly like Mozart, Magic Flute. But yeah, you know, The Bartered Bride, Don Giovanni. So I just seeing the an opera be created within a Super Nintendo game, that was something I never thought I would see. That was amazing. Oh, Futurama. Yeah, that's like another thing that like, oh yeah, that exists. I guess I'll have to watch that at some point. I'm sure that Futurama is very much like, I mean, I'm guessing it's the same makers as Simpsons. It's just the art style is so similar. But I would be I don't have any point of reference because like I already don't know what Simpsons brought to the table because I haven't watched it. I feel like these animated American animated sitcoms, they all kind of bring different things to the table. And I've been figuring out like one by one, but I still need to see just more Simpsons. Yeah, I just hope it's like, I mean, I'm assuming based on how many seasons Futurama has, it's not like another Cleveland show situation. Cause like even though like American Dad is so similar to Family Guy, like American Dad does have like it does bring some things to the table that you don't get in Family Guy, thus kind of justifying its existence. But then from what I recall, you have something like Cleveland Show where it's like why would you watch this? Like it's made for people that like Family Guy and American Dad, but they could just watch that instead. Like what does this bring to the table that the others don't? there's, there's too much. There's too much to see that I have not seen. Brawl was your introduction to a lot of characters. Yeah, I same here. Yeah, when I was a kid, Brawl was the new Smash Bros. That's what, cause you know, it's like everyone had a Wii. Gosh, yeah, growing up, every single household had a Wii. Every single household, and just playing with kids growing up, like gosh. But yeah, so that was the Smash Bros. For the Wii era, and I remember playing it and being like, I don't know who Meta Knight is, but he's so cool. Who's King DDD? What's he all about? I when I was a kid, I was super pissed off that Snake from Metal Gear Solid wasn't actually a snake. Like I'm like, it's just a guy. Like it's a military dude who looks stylistically very, very different from everyone in this game. Like, why is he here? Who even is this guy? I was so pissed off that he wasn't like an actual snake. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get to watching Simpsons someday. I feel like it's gonna happen. I mentioned this before, like the body of the sea bear is based a bit on like a piranha. So because like I felt like the shape for what I was going for, the shape of the sea bear's body in the original SpongeBob cartoon, it's not it had to change a little bit. I need something a little more dynamic, something a bit more organic, less round ovalish. Solid Snake, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other people in Brawl. Yeah, Pit from Kid Icarus. I did not know who that was. Ness and Lucas, I had no clue who they were. Wolf, I mean, I had never played Star Fox, but I could guess where he came from. Oh wait, did that new Star Fox come out? I talked about that on stream like after it got unveiled. That new Star Fox come out? I think it did. Did I ever watch Nick Jr.? Oh yeah, I, I did. So I've been lying to you guys for weeks. So it turns out I did have TV growing up a bit. So there was no TV in my house, but at my grandmother's house, she had a very small TV in the wall. It only had one channel, and it would play in the morning. It would play Nick Jr. It was like, oh my gosh, you could never get a TV like that anymore. Little 4x3 black TV. There was a hole in the wall that was perfectly sized for it. And it was right by the breakfast table where me and my sister and my cousins would all eat breakfast in the morning. And that TV, there was no remote for it. You would just click the button, Nick Jr. Yeah, no, Blues Clues was great. Dora was great. Pinky Dinky Doo. Ubi? Anyone remember Ubi? Little Bear? Max and Ruby? I hated Max so much. He pissed me off. Yo, Anime Clay, thanks for pulling up. Yeah, we're working on a puppet for an upcoming film, but thank you so much for dropping in. Yeah, don't worry about it. Life gets in the way. In the meantime, keeping my hands busy. Shout out to Anime Clay, everybody. Yeah, there were so many shows on Nick Jr. So many that I watched. Just whatever was on. I remember when I was a little kid, I thought that Dora the Explorer was Brazilian because I knew about Brazil, but I didn't know about I knew about Portuguese, but I didn't know like Spanish was like its own thing. She probably says it like this is Spanish. in the show, but like, I'm half Brazilian, so I assumed like, oh, this girl's Brazilian, right? Remember Boots? Remember the map? Remember Swiper? Those were good times. Yeah, Blues Clues. So a funny thing about Blues Clues is in throughout my life, I've had a lot of people, like kids growing up, I've had them tell me that I look like Steve from Blues Clues. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely kind of do. He doesn't have these. He doesn't have hair anymore at all, I don't think. But no, I definitely resemble him a bit. I can deny it no longer. Okay, so here's what we kind of got. I'm kind of like getting the shape here, and then we're just gonna have to start like taking away. Sculpt in the truest sense of the word. I didn't know there was a Rayman TV show. I didn't play Rayman growing up. I was a Nintendo kid, so if it wasn't on like the Wii, I didn't play it. So actually, we were talking about Brawl earlier, Smash Bros. Brawl. Brawl was actually a really influential game because Brawl had a masterpieces section where you could play demos for retro games that all these different characters in the Smash Bros. Lineup came from or derived from. So I played those, and all of the games that they had demos for, you could buy the full games on the Wii Shop channel. So Smash Bros. Brawl was actually a really important game for me because it introduced me to retro gaming. The first, I think, retro game that I ever bought on the Wii Shop channel, I think was I remember I asked my mom to get me a bunch for Christmas. It was Mario Kart 64. And I was like, this is so cool. It's like Mario Kart but old. Wow Wow Wubsy, I remember. They got Beyonce. I do not remember that. So Wow Wow Wubsy, I remember by the time I don't know when did Wow Wow Wubsy come out? Because I remember by the time I knew what like Wow Wow Wubsy was or started seeing it on the TV, I was just out of the age group. Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember seeing Wow Wow Wubsy. I I remember at my brother's house there was Wow Wow Wubsy and Yo Gabba Gabba when he was young. But I never saw those at like my grandmother's house. Never saw that. The only Rayman I ever played was I played like a demo of Rayman Legends at the Target on the kiosk. Gosh, going to Target when I was a really little kid and buying UB Funkies, like looking to get a new UB Funky. Gosh, great times. And then going to Target and getting Skylanders when Skylanders were a thing. That's a whole other subject. I don't know how many of you guys know UB Funkies, but UB Funkies was like amazing. Such a big part of my childhood. Battle for Bikini Bottom? Nope. I didn't play it. I always heard people really liked Battle for Bikini Bottom, but I never played it. Trying to see if I can take away from this just to reduce the size of the sea bear a bit. Not bad progress for an hour and a half. Or an hour, really, since I started the clock. Yo, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you back. I never played Disney Infinity, but I remember seeing it at the Target. Yeah, going to the Target was like that was like Disneyland growing up. Going there and getting like a bag of popcorn and walking around, doing the circuit, going to the video game section. Target was where I would go to get the latest video game. Toys R Us I would go to for toys, but there was a whole corner dedicated to like all the electronics and the gaming and stuff. Ever been to Kmart? Nah. We don't I don't think we have Kmart's where I live. I don't think I've ever seen a Kmart. Did I know that I could play GameCube games on the Wii? Yes. So when I was a kid, I yeah, there's the slots for the controllers, GameCube controllers, and the the memory cards on the top of the Wii. And For the longest time, I had no idea what those were for. And then it was after I played Mario Party 6 at that hotel that had like a GameCube controller plug-in thing where you could rent games. After I played that at the hotel, I was like, I really want to play this game again. So I did research and then I found out that you could play GameCube games on the Wii, and that blew my mind when I was a kid. So I got my hands on a copy of Mario Party 6 and a controller. It was like a really garbage, cheap GameCube controller from GameStop, like really garbage, but I made it work. You've been watching my episodes over the past year for BrickBob. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you're impressed with what you've seen so far, wait till you see the sea bear in action. But right now I know he hasn't looked like much. Looks like a droplet, but trust me, it's gonna look good. Stuff smooths out really well. Yeah, for those who are new here, we are redoing the sea bear body. I go over it at the start of the stream, but yeah, pretty much what we're doing is we're going to make a sculpture puppet hybrid for the sea bear. So this body will be fully sculpted. It's going to be baked and painted. I'm going to add some wire at the front for the head. What's that? And some wire for the fins. I'm going to turn up the AC. How's the remote? Oh, I had it set to 68 degrees. No wonder I'm sweating. The only thing that I saw of Adventures of Flapjack when I was a kid was I'm sure some of you watched like disturbing moments in cartoons, like countdowns. There was there was a there was a clip from Flapjack. I'm trying to think what it was. Can you guys maybe you guys can help me out? Knuckles shared the same voice as the Flying Dutchman? What? Oh, that Knuckles. I'm thinking of the Knuckles from wait, Knuckles? I'm thinking of Knuckles from Sonic. When I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3, so keep in mind I didn't see Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie. I just I saw the first one and then I saw 3. When I heard Knuckles' voice, I was like, "Oh my God, that's so funny." It's Shere Khan from the live action Jungle Book movie. Another show that I learned about in like disturbing moments from cartoon kid shows. Another show that I learned about was Courage the Cowardly Dog, and out of curiosity, I ended up watching that because it was on Netflix. I'll never forget like one day I just logged on to Netflix and there were a whole bunch, just a whole bunch of Cartoon Network shows. I think they pulled like the Nickelodeon shows off and put on all the Cartoon Network shows, but yeah, it was just like those were the days like before Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and HBO. All these shows were on either Netflix or Hulu. It's just so crazy that like to think that all these shows that were on Netflix or Hulu, like these people were like, "Oh, let's just make our own Netflix." Come on. Yeah, I didn't get super into Courage the Cowardly Dog, but I liked it. I thought it was fine. It was pretty creepy, but it didn't. I don't know if I was just too old at that point, but it didn't like freak me out. There was Ed, Ed and Eddie. I got really into that at one point, but it's not like a show that I'll turn on. I'm like, I find myself like turning on the regular, but it's a good show. That was a show. Ed, Ed and Eddie was a show that I think I saw on like someone's TV, like really when I was really young, and I forgot all about it. And then when I discovered it on Netflix, I was like, "Oh my God, has it been this long?" All right, we're gonna need some wire. Have I seen the old Looney Tunes that played on Cartoon Network? No, but when I was growing up, my grandparents had this like Looney Tunes box set of like I couldn't tell that they were old cartoons at the time, but they were definitely like they had a whole bunch of different eras of Looney Tunes cartoons, and I love them. Angled. There was, I remember there was the Freaky Fred reanimated collab based on Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I wasn't in that collab, but after it came out and I saw it, I was really impressed with one of the animator shots. So I made like my own version of it in clay animation because I was like, oh, this would look great. Did I play Mario 64? Yeah. That was a game that I discovered through like the Wii Shop channel. That game's like amazing for the time. Like when that game came out, it must have blown people away. Yeah, it was Fred like grinning. Did I play Mario Sunshine? Nah. I did get a copy of Mario Sunshine for my friend for his birthday, but I never played it. Played through it. Oh. I'm sizing up the arm. Because the sea bear has like pretty short arms, but they also have to like kind of go up high. They need to be able to express and maintain silhouette. Getting my floral tape. Wait, oh, do I? Nah, I shouldn't have. It's not when I make it, but ugh, for now I'm gonna need it. Yes, I'm working on the sea bear. Also, please don't spam. How do I open this? So the floral tape is just like another train's really loud. The floral tape is just another one of those things I use to kind of like keep the clay clean, but also it'll like if I don't wrap it, it'll the wires are just going to get messy and then it could blend in with other clay. Oh, wait a minute. I I am going to have to bake this. I'll have to apply the floral tape later. I'm stupid. I'm just going to leave it out. All right, let's start getting a little bit of detail on here because I think we got the shape good. So head will go here, arm will probably go somewhere here, gonna add some detail. The scary godmother? Nah, I didn't see that. Pac-Man's snack breaks? I didn't know about that. Yo, welcome to the stream. Working on our sea bear. All right, texture tool. I know you can't see it, it just looks like a pointy thing, but it has texture on it. This stuff is so cool. What I did was I got like a actually I probably have it somewhere in the closet. I like went to the party store and bought two toys. I bought like a lizard figurine and like a Yeti figurine because I was making a sculpture of Gex and I needed a texture tool that could make like scales and such lizard skin. So what I did was I took some of this Super Sculpey and rolled it along the the toy or the figure, and then I baked it, and now I have this really neat texture tool. I do hope it shows after getting painted on, though. So wait. You guys see this? Might be a little too subtle. Don't Gex 3 ending cutscene? You I will say you've piqued my curiosity. I never played the Gex games. I tried playing Gex 2 Enter the Gecko on N64 when I was a kid. I even got the original Gex on PlayStation, like the original PlayStation, because when I was a teenager, I was collecting old video games because, I that's what you do when you're a nerdy teenager. But I couldn't get into them. Like, I couldn't get into any of them. I just thought they were kind of boring. Mario 64, I thought was way more engaging and clever. Probably gonna make a proper little slot for the head, just so it blends in a bit better. Taking away. Whole idea, Straw. Yeah, like cantaloupe that has like crazy texture. Wouldn't it be cool if I like gave a puppet or a sculpture like a crazy looking texture and people are like, "Oh wow, has really interesting looking skin." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cantaloupe." Yeah, Gex, like I like the idea of Gex, but I thought the games were just so boring from what I played. Like it didn't hook me. I liked that he was like this almost like adult, like charismatic cartoon character. Like I like what they're doing with him. I like some things. I just thought that the games were really boring. Actually, Gex made a return, and there was like a special bundle that you could get that I think came with a Gex statue. And I was like, oh, I want that statue. So I ended up sculpting my own. I need to paint it though. I was thinking of maybe making a cast or a mold and a cast for it, but I don't know. I'm not doing that much these days. Computer's not plugged in. That you made a mold of human teeth by biting into modeling clay. That is tough. Okay, so get this. I've never put clay in my mouth except for Play-Doh. Because, dude, when you're a kid, Play-Doh, it looks like the perfect thing to put in your mouth. But the salt repelled repelled it, doing its intended purpose. But yeah, I never bit into like clay like this, despite all of my many experiments with clay. What I would do is I would bite into gum and like kind of inspect the gum and be like, "Oh, look at my teeth. That's what my teeth look like inverted." Have I played Psychonauts? Nah. Oh, is anyone in the chat a priest? Because we we have some confessions going on right now. All right, you know what? I'll play priest. I absolve you. You're welcome. Because remember, here at Lorenzo Volpentesta, we are a family. We we animate together. We explore all things nerddom together, the realm of nerdom. Anytime. You're good. Gosh, no, Play-Doh. Dude, Play-Doh, like I'm an adult and I still like I look at it and I'm like, I want to put that in my mouth. I remember it was so bright and colorful, smelled amazing. It's packaged in this cute little Tupperware, this little container. What kid wouldn't want to put it in their mouth? So here's the thing, before I started sculpting with baking clay, what I would do is I would I would make sculptures with Play-Doh and then I would just leave them out and they would solidify. And I remember I think we probably threw them out at this point because they were so unbelievably old. But like when they would dry out, the salt would would bubble up at the surface. Bro, that's like some you've tried watching six different movies at once. That's like some Back to the Future 2 stuff. All right, I'm gonna give this guy a fin. I think it should be. I think we're good. Oh wait, we have to give him like multiple. No, first, I'm gonna make a little area for his neck. Then we should be good. Yeah, I took the sea bear and just kind of put my own little flavor on it, kind of adapted it to my art style a bit more, but I also realized that I had to change up the body a little bit, make it more dynamic. And we're gonna, I don't know if this is enough wire. Maybe. Yeah, I don't want to put too much. I don't want it to be too tight. All right, so there's the neck. Whew. You like the sketch? Thank you so much. Yeah, I just like threw it together before the stream. And for those of you who didn't see before, this is kind of like what we're going for. So the body is going to be hard clay, which we are working on right now. And I'm going to leave little wires running out of it for the soft clay so I can animate the head, express with the head, move the arms. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do for the arm in the back. It's the one thing I'm kind of like about. Oh well. And the arm is going to have to be a bit longer, which we have right here. Pac-Man snack breaks? Nah, I haven't seen it. There were Pac-Man TV shows. I don't know how like I don't know how people discovered those. Like, yeah, Pac-Man, the TV show. Hell yeah. I didn't know that Pac-Man was so ripe for uh, an animated series. Oh, my Pyrex is over there. Hmm. Maybe. Uh, I won't get it now, but I'll get it soon. I'm gonna start putting some detail onto this. Dude, what does a fin look like? Fish, fin. Because I know you're a bit translucent. Looks like a fin. Lovely. I'll put one along the bottom right here. Oh man, we have to do the tail. I see Digital Circus finale. Nah, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I think Digital Circus is good. It's clearly it's not made for me, but like I have a lot of respect for like, it's a new it's animation coming out of something other than the big studio system from what I could from what I hear. Internet creators, yeah. Yeah, Digital Circus I saw recently. I as the episodes were coming out, but yeah, that was like one of those things that just like made a huge splash. Straw, you can paint such a picture with your words. I noticed that about you. Did I play Donkey Kong Country? Yeah. I still vividly remember begging my mom to take me to the Target to get Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze when it came out in February 2014. And I tried to pace myself, like beat it slower. Like I forced myself I was like, okay, don't play through the whole game in one day. The hype was insane. Yeah, no, Donkey Kong Country was so influential for me growing up. I loved the art style. I loved that everything looked like it was made out of clay. It looked like a toy. It introduced me to King K. Rool, one of my favorite video game characters. Oh, yeah, and when I what I was doing when I was a teenager was making sculptures based on my favorite video games, and for years I was making little dioramas from my favorite like moments in Donkey Kong Country, like my favorite levels and stuff. Straw, you've earned your title. Anime Clay, thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, I didn't. I specifically didn't want to like already this sea bear is going to be filmed over blue screen to be composited into footage. So I didn't want to be like shooting multiple layers of video and layering them up and just more editing than I have to do. I like to do as much on camera as possible. Yeah, because I was thinking of like, I was like, well, I do want to make like a proper sculpture that I can that I can sell as a prop afterwards. So the conclusion I came to was like, well, why make them separate then, right? Like just bring them together. I'm sure I could make something awesome. We did it with Popeye. Popeye had a really cool effect where I just took like live videography footage of Popeye. I didn't even animate that portrait, and I just took a light and kind of moved it around him, kind of getting this crazy, this really surreal lighting effect. And now he's sitting in my closet waiting to find a home. Didn't Gex have like a didn't Gex have like like a sexy woman companion in Gex 3? They like hired a model to play her. I love that. I love cartoon characters with tall, statuous model girlfriends. Like there's something about that that's so amusing. You know, Roger Rabbit, Conquer the Squirrel. Like I love that. I don't even know if that Gex remake trilogy thing came out. Did anyone play it? I don't know how well it sold. Wait, actually, I'm curious because there was like a special edition thing, and it had like a little Gex statue figurine. Yo, did this thing come out? What the heck? I'm looking at the Tail Time edition. Comes with a whole bunch of Gex swag. A 7-inch Gex statue. I don't know if this ever came out. Oh my god, that's an actual human woman next to Gex. Isn't that funny? Like you're that's like it's like something you would see in like a Nintendo Power magazine. Not that I grew up with Nintendo Power. That was before my time, but it's amusing to me. Where is my favorite? Oh, here it is. Jeez. It's right under my nose. Oh yeah, there was also Crash Bandicoot. He also had like a tall, voluptuous girlfriend, and then got rid of her in they got rid of her in the sequel something. I don't remember how they writ her out. Writ how they wrote her out. Writ. It's not a real word. No, she's a real person. It's just it makes it that much more funny to me. I remember watching Cool World, and it's got like that attractive animated woman dancing, the one in the white dress or something. And then like at some point in the movie, she turns real, like into a real woman. I'm like, oh, go back, go back. Nah, animated characters just look better than real people. If I could rematerialize as an animated character, and we lived in like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers type world, I would totally be an animated character. I only have one source of light coming in from the right. Need more. Yeah, wait. Crash's girlfriend, I think her name's Tawna. Like they wrote her out of the sequel, but then they made a new Crash game or something. And they brought her back, but they made her like a badass or something like that. Didn't they do that? I played. I was a big fan of Cat Icarus, the YouTuber, game reviewer, movie reviewer, fellow nerd. Cat Icarus growing up, and he would review games for the PlayStation, and he was kind of my introduction to like things like classic PlayStation, Crash Bandicoot. I loved watching him talk about the Crash games, and then I bought an old PlayStation, I think on eBay, and I started playing them for myself. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot was never a series I like made a deep rooted connection with. It wasn't like a childhood defining thing for me. It was just kind of like, oh, this is kind of fun. My favorite was the first Crash Bandicoot game from 96, it was. I preferred it to 2 and 3, even though 2 and 3 are definitely superior in like every way. But I found the first Crash Bandicoot really quite fun and challenging platforming, which was what I liked. I like being given like a difficult task and like achieve it. I wasn't really a fan of how of like collectathon games like Donkey Kong 64 or Mario 64 or Banjo Kazooie where you have to like explore everything and collect everything. Like to me, I'm like I just want to complete the challenges and fight the boss. I don't want to have to like 100%. Well, granted, I don't think you have to, but I don't want to have to go around turning over rocks collecting. Granted, Banjo Kazooie is like a really fun game. The collecting is very exciting in that game. Once we have the sea bear body made and like baked and stuff, I'll probably do a stream where I'm just making like sea bear faces all day. And fortunately, the sea bear does not talk. So we can have fun with it, and it's not going to be like a huge, extensive, like, oh, I have to make like 20 faces kind of thing. And then animate the sea bear talking. And like, I like making mouths and I like animating dialogue. Just, we don't have to do it for the sea bear. I didn't know there was a Lego Incredibles game. Did they make Lego Incredibles sets? Because I never recall seeing Lego Incredibles sets. I think I saw like a picture of like a Lego Incredibles game, but I assumed that it was like fake. I didn't think it was real. I am not a fan of Incredibles 2. I'm not going to see the third one in theaters. I can't. You can all fight me on Incredibles 2. Yeah, Incredibles 2, that's like that's one of those movies where no matter how many times you watch it, the the story and the script and just everything, it never quite gels together. Like you always finish that movie and feel like am I missing something? So actually get this, in The Incredibles 2, that was the first movie that I ever drove myself to the theaters to go see. I just got my driver's license and I went to go see it. It was summer. Yeah, drove to the movies by myself and I saw it. So, going back to Crash Bandicoot, the most modern Crash Bandicoot game that I played and like got while it was new was Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I got it for Switch? Yeah, it must have been Switch because it came out in 2019. Gosh, I I can't believe I can't believe the Switch, the OG Switch is like coming up on 10 years old. That's I still remember when it was announced, like that initial trailer showing what the Switch even was after a lot of rumors about the Nintendo NX. It's like ancient history. I remember Pinstripe Potoroo. I loved Pinstripe. I thought he was so funny. I remember hearing his theme for in the first Crash Bandicoot game, and just like his room and the knocked over furniture and that like very disturbing piano music. You guys know what I'm talking about? I made some sculptures from the Crash Bandicoot series. I liked Ripperoo. I liked his design. Yeah, like I did engage with Crash Bandicoot for a bit. It didn't leave a lot of like impact on me. But yeah, talking about it now, I definitely am unearthing a few memories. So here's the thing. I don't want the fins to be too thin because I don't want them to be more fragile. But Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, I I remember getting that game for Switch, playing through it, having a blast. I thought that the gameplay was way more stimulating than Mario Kart 8. I mean, Mario Kart 8 is good, but I just thought that like the the act of driving in that game was way more exciting. You have more control over like the vehicle, the speed boost mechanic, the drifting mechanic is so much fun. There's a lot more agency in like achieving those boosts. The tracks were more challenging. It was great, but it did have problems. The most the worst one was the microtransactions. So I got the game when it first came out, and all the reviews came in, got really good reviews. People were saying really nice things about the game, and then like, oh my gosh, go to bed, Straw. Thanks for coming in. Oh, so Decepticon Bendy, where it's going to be the same thing, but for the sea rhinoceros, I'm going to make a body from hard clay. It's going to be like this. So this will be like another prop from the film. I'm going to have just a couple areas where I'm going to put some soft clay so I can animate him a bit. Because he's only on the screen for like 5 seconds, but I figure if we're going to make him, might as well make him into a work of art that will exist and can be bought as like a film memorabilia afterwards. Because after making the Squid Bob Tentacle Pants abomination monster thing at the end of that episode of BrickBob Films, I should have done that in Super Sculpey. But yeah, so like a month after Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled came out and all the good reviews came in, lo and behold, Activision or whoever developed it, I don't know whose fault you can pin it on, but what they did was they added like a really predatory microtransaction system into the game. There were a myriad of really, really cool cosmetics in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I remember there was this one for Nitrous Oxide where he looks like a member of the band Kiss. He just looks so cool. I wanted it so bad. But it was this really predatory microtransaction encouraging system where you you would get like a fear of missing out effect put on you where it was like you only get one chance to buy these cosmetics and the only way you can have a chance of buying them is by either grind at the game for like 700 hours or pay for the currency. It was so awful. It was terrible. Oh, and then a year later, they discontinued support for the game. And another thing about Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, the online, at least for Switch, was so horribly broken. The online was just, it was so terrible. It was awful online. What happened to the fourth wall re-break in Graveyard Shift? I when I re-uploaded Graveyard Shift, removing the swears on BrickBob Films, I opted to remove that fourth wall break because I don't know, I felt like it was like at the time I was like, oh, this will be funny, but looking back on it, I felt like it was a little too self-indulgent. Like I don't know, I felt like it wasn't as clever as it thought it was, and I didn't like how I was like I felt like it made me look like a jerk, you know? It made me like, oh, look how clever this guy is. He's making the video, and I just I didn't really like that ending. So I changed it when I re-uploaded Graveyard Shift. But if you want to see the original ending, you can see it in the 6 hour mega compilation. You can find it there on BrickBob Films. Shanghai is such a good episode, but I'm not planning on ever remaking that one. I don't think that there's a lot that I could add to that episode. I mean, of course there would be the production quality increase, but like I don't feel like I have much to add to it. It's a really good episode, but not not planning on like I said, it's I always have to kind of go with my gut when it comes to making a new episode of Brick Bob Films. There's so many suggestions and there's so many episodes of SpongeBob that I love, but you can't possibly make them all. So you really just have to go with your gut on it at the end of the day. I mean, I went with my gut on this one, but in the case of the camping episode, which we're making right now, day 9, it's just this is one it's a classic episode of SpongeBob. It's not super complex from a filming perspective. It takes place on one location. So it's the easiest to get into, like pulling out all my Legos, and the sea bear sequence is so iconic. And the with my with my clay animation skills and just the animation skills I've picked up, I knew that I could really do the sea bear sequence justice. Like the end result's going to look really good. Did I watch Dexter's Lab or Foster's Home? Nah. I think I saw a little bit on the TVs when I was a kid, like at someone's house, but I never. That was one of those shows that was like it was. If I ever saw it, it was like passing by a TV at someone's house, and never had DVDs of it. Krusty Crushers I like. I like Krusty Crushers, and I was actually planning on doing it last year. I recruited Cameron to voice act for it. He was the voice for Sergeant Roderick and Smitty Werber Jaegerman Jensen last year in BrickBob Films. I recruited him. I was ready and set to make it for the last episode of the year, but I realized that I was not going to be able to make the deadline of because I wanted to get one more episode out for December before the year would close off, and I could see that I had a really ambitious vision for that episode, but I was not going to be able to make the December release date. So I decided to put it on hold. But I still am planning on making it at some point. But that's going to require so much clay animation production stuff. Like a lot of doing what I'm doing now, sitting at my desk, making puppets, a lot of storyboarding and planning out shots. Definitely. I play Banjo Kazooie or Bubsy 3D. Yeah, beat Banjo Kazooie multiple times. Bubsy 3D I played, did not complete it. It takes a very special kind of individual to complete Bubsy 3D, I think. Although it was a recipient of the Golden X Award. Let us not forget. Come to think of it, BrickBob Films is a recipient of the Golden X Award too, and so is Clay Kremling, for that matter. Karate Island's a good one. I feel like I could have some fun with it. It's just not one of my favorites. Like, it's not one that I'm like dying to make. It's a pretty. It, I do know that it's an episode that a lot of people really enjoy. I see the Muppet Show reboot. Nah. I'm not really planning on watching it. My favorite Jim Henson things always the Dark Crystal. I need to watch the Muppet films properly. I did watch some Muppets when I was a kid, but I need to see I feel like I need to see more of it because like I think that there is some like they're so classic. Sesame Street, like those were really hugely impactful shows on a lot of people. I feel like I got to pay my respects at some point. Like they're classic, but for me, my favorite was always Dark Crystal. I loved Dark Crystal when I was a kid. It scared a lot of kids apparently, which I can totally buy. It is like pretty terrifying at points, but I loved Dark Crystal when I was a kid. And Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, oh my god. Just it uh, people say that everyone has like a bone to pick with Netflix because at some point there's a Netflix original that everyone will find a Netflix original that they like and then will get canceled. For me, it was Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. That show was so unbelievably good. Like I watched it at the time and thought like, "Oh, this is fine." Then I rewatched it and thought, "Oh, this is pretty great." But I rewatched it last year and it's just so good. It it did everything that the movie wished it could do. I think the movie's good, but the movie definitely has some like narrative problems that just keep it from being a true like masterpiece. And it's a shame because like the original movie from what 80 I don't know, 86? I don't remember what year. Oh, 82, I think. I think it might have been 82. Like if they just tweaked the script just a little bit in the original film would have been a masterpiece. It would have been way better, but it just had a couple things holding it back. I don't know if we have any Dark Crystal fans here, but Dark Crystal is truly something special. To me, it's on the same level as like Star Wars, like classic Star Wars level of imagination, world building, creating a whole new universe. Nah, I didn't see either of those Muppet films. There was one, what was it? Like Kermit's Swamp Tales. There was this Muppet movie that I saw as a kid where it was like a young Kermit, I think, and there's a dog that's voiced by Susie Carmichael from Rugrats. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like one of Kermit's like frog pals gets kidnapped in the shiny wheeled thing. It's a car. I definitely watched some a little bit of Muppets in like Sesame Street growing up. I couldn't remember what particular like if it was the movies or the shows. Phenomena from the Muppet Show. I remember seeing that. I thought that was so hilarious when I was a kid. Me and my sister would like act it out. It's so funny because like these like Sesame Street and the Muppet Show, like every episode features a celebrity, but it's like some celebrity that I no one knows anymore. I mean, maybe old people, but Me, I'm like, I do not know who any of these people are. Yeah, I remember asking. I was like talking with my grandmother, and I was like, I said something like, "Oh, wasn't that celebrity in like the Sesame Street or like in the Muppet Show once?" And my grandma's response was anyone who was anybody back then was on the Muppet Show or Sesame Street. I think the only woman I knew was Sophia Loren, I think is her name. I think that's the only one I knew who showed up in like the Muppet Show. Or I think I'm screwing that up. I'm probably definitely messing that up. Only thing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I've seen was the movie that came out a few years ago with like the Spider Verse animation. It was pretty fun. The main villain's like a fly, and he has like a low voice. What's his low voice sound like? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember when I watched the movie. Maybe it was last summer. I don't really remember much about it. I just know there's the Ninja Turtles and they like live with a rat guy. Have I ever done an impression of Man Ray? I don't think I have. Never watched a Ninjago show. I'm trying to think if I got like any like Ninjago sets. I got like the mini ones that came like with like a one character and like a spinny thing and like a card and stuff like that, trading card. I don't want this fin to look too like shark like. I think the sea rhinoceros will kind of look a bit more like that. Did I play Cuphead? Yeah, I played Cuphead. So here's my history with Cuphead. I I did not know about Cuphead for the entirety of its development, which was like over 10 years. That game had like a crazy long development. It was a passion project. And then the day it came out, this reviewer that I followed on YouTube, he was talking about it. I'm like, oh, what's this? So I click on it. I'm looking at the game, and I'm like blown away. I'm like, this is unreal looking. And I remember that I'm trying to think what the timeline exactly was, but I remember that it was right around the time that I got the inspiration to make Jasper in a Jam. I remember playing some Cuphead before leaving my house one day. I was playing on my PC. I remember playing Cuphead on my PC before going to animate for Jasper in a Jam. But I thought that that was like the most perfect thing. Like, I'm making this musical 1940s stop motion rubber hose animation into, I'm reanimating it into clay animation. And this game just came out. It was like fate. But yeah, when Cuphead came out, I was blown away by the animation and the music. I was listening to that, to the whole soundtrack in the car for like a year. That's the kind of person I am when I'm like, when I when I like fall in love with something like a movie or music or something, I will consume it over and over and over and over. I will absorb it as much as I can. Just just suck every last drop out of it. Yeah, just listening. I remember listening to the Cuphead soundtrack in the car going to the gym and stuff like that. Anywhere I was driving, cuz yeah, I think it was around that time I got my license. So yeah, I remember listening to it in the car. And I was so glad that Cuphead became a huge hit. That was like a really artsy, unusual, definitely not conventional game that came out that just struck a chord with so many people, and I'm glad it became a huge hit. You know, and it's become an IP. Got like a Netflix show. I hadn't watched the whole thing, but from what I saw, it was pretty good. And the Delicious Last Course music was amazing in that. I still listen to the Delicious Last Course soundtrack. Shorter, but it's so good. Very, very inspiring stuff. Yeah, it's like it's nice to see something that's very, very different and bizarre and unusual take off like that. Train's coming back. I've seen some Betty Boop. I love Old Man of the Mountain. The music in that is so good. Cab Calloway. But yeah, if you do a little bit of digging into like Rubber Hose animation from back in the day, you'll instantly start seeing all of the myriad of influences in Cuphead. I was just blown away by how like just every sensory thing in Cuphead was just completely on the ball with the cartoons of the time. It wasn't just like the visuals, it was like the like well, I was going to say, let me back up a little bit. It wasn't just like the character animations, it was things like the techniques they use for making the backgrounds, the the like boxy-ish audio, like even the sound of the like the sound effects, the announcer, they sounded true to the cartoons of the time. It was so well done because I definitely saw some like I can't even name what these cartoons are. There were like some old Mickey Mouse cartoons that would play after like a Disney movie. I remember there was a cartoon of like there's like a saxophone and a violin and they fall in love and they want to be together, but the saxophone's from the an island that's jazz and the violins from an island that's classical and their parents like are fighting with each other. I remember some of those cartoons would play at the end of like Disney VHS tapes that we had. Oh my gosh. There was one where like Mickey's conducting an orchestra, I think. I'm unlocking memories. But I remember the music. That's definitely a thing for me is audio's really big. Like I'll I'll vividly remember, maybe not vividly, but I will very distinctly remember the way a certain character says a very specific line. Like those little details make a huge difference. Oh, it's 10 p.m. for me. I'm approaching the part of the evening where I'm starting to like become develop blindness to like what I have to do next. There is definitely an important point where you have to kind of stop and take a break, but there are a bunch of glaring things I have to do to the sea bear still. Aside from the obvious, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Did I play Cuphead? Yeah. I didn't like do expert mode, but I definitely played it. I remember getting the delicious last course finally came out and I'm like, "All right, let's try and beat this tonight." And I got to the final boss, baking the Wonder Tart, Chef Salt Baker, and it took me like over an hour to beat him. He was so unbelievably hard. Yeah, the difficulty keeps your game from being an hour long. Yeah, Cuphead's like one of those things where the attention to detail is like inhuman, especially for how like niche it is. Like it's just there wasn't a single thing they could have added to that to make it even more vividly accurate, or just the attention to detail is just astonishing. Mouse PI? Yeah, I have heard of Mouse PI. I saw like one of the initial trailers. I don't know how far along the game was in development, but yeah, it looks pretty fun. I don't know how visually like how different the game would look now because I saw that trailer a while ago, like a long while ago. But yeah, that like the music in Cuphead just really struck a chord with me. I mean, even one of my favorite elements about a lot of those old cartoons from the era is the music. It harkens back to the day when people would make cinema and then they would have an orchestra play the audio. Like, coming out of the silent film generation. But yeah, those old Jasper cartoons had amazing music. Betty Boop had some great music. What am I looking for? Yeah, Jasper and a Jam, amazing music. Jasper and the Beanstalk. I know none of you have seen Jasper and the Beanstalk. Jasper has faded into obscurity. He was a product of the time, but like in Jasper and the Beanstalk, like that scene when the beanstalk starts growing and Jasper's asleep, the music is so beautiful. Plants vs. Zombies. I never played. I heard about it a lot though. Actually, I remember when I was a kid, because I always had my hands in clay. My babysitter she asked me if I could make her like a character from Plants vs. Zombies. out of clay, and like she would pay me. I did make a couple pieces. I don't remember if I actually went through with it. I think I might have, so long ago. I wish I was reeling back to like talking about music and animation, like in those old cartoons from back in the day. I I wish I was like equally as enthusiastic about producing and performing music as I was about animation, because music lends itself to animation so well. It's like it's so many things. It's music, or just like musicals. Music can just have so many forms, but like you're combining so many things. You're combining storytelling, poetry, instruments, vocals, audio engineering. It's all coming together into one. Loving the Sea Bear. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's the painting it is going to be fun too. And there's going to be, I'm also going to make the sea rhinoceros. I don't know if I'll make it right after this sea bear. I probably will, just because like because I'm already in the mode of working with the Super Sculpey, and I can't exactly finish the film without the sea rhinoceros, can I? So might just make him next. I think this might be it. I think I'll apply some texture onto it. Might touch up the tail. You might be about ready to bake soon. Close. Gonna have to fit here. Oof, just barely. Oops. Like, compare this to what we had at the start of the stream, you know? And wait till it's not even painted, too. Mm, yeah. I could also use some pastels to bring out the texture. A few little bumps on him. So a funny thing about the sea bear during I think like the last scene with him before he swims away is that so there's a few frames in the cartoon where the sea bear actually you see him turn around because normally when the sea bear turns around he's off screen. So that's easy because all I have to do is like invert the footage. So all I have to do is mirror it and then I can have the sea bear like swim away. But I'm gonna have to stage and block out the animation in such a way where I skip the those like it's only like 2 or 3 frames where the sea bear's turning around because this I'm not going to be making multiple versions of this just for him turning around. Yo, thank you for the love. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a fascinating process. I'm gonna move this back fin a little bit further back because it's too close to his front fin. Yeah, so much. Like, the thing about stop motion is like people think that it takes forever to like film something. Personally, what really takes forever is the preparing. That's what takes forever. That's why my anxiety tends to spike during the preparation phase because you spend copious amounts of hours preparing to shoot. So there's a thousand opportunities to be like, oh, we're not ready yet. I still have to do this, still have to do that. So it's it's hard to start filming. It's like, oh boy, now I have to do the thing. So what I think I'll do is I'm gonna stop soon. We have this. So I'll be stopping soon, and I'm not gonna bake this tonight. I'm gonna look at it the next morning to see what, like, just give it one last look. Like, is there anything else I need to touch up? I think we've kind of done it. And we can work on, I think we'll work on the sea rhinoceros next. I think that's just what has to happen next. The sea rhinoceros is like less, I mean, it's more sculpting, so it's going to take more time, but also it's not going to be like animated as much. So that's just going to be like a sculpting stream pretty much. Painting the patterns is going to be fun. The sea bear here. Yeah, I second. So I think we might call it here. I think this is a good stopping point. Good work for 3 hours. It's it's going to be baked. I'm going to give it another look over tomorrow, but it's pretty much sculpted. It's going to be baked. It's going to have a head done with the modeling clay, and then I'll make a permanent head afterwards. And next, I believe we'll be working on the sea rhinoceros. I'm pretty sure that's the most logical thing that has to happen next. It's kind of a cool paint pattern. But yeah, I can just like put some clay on the sea rhinoceros's face to just move his eyes a little bit. And then I can add in hard ones later and like glue them in. But I think we've done it. So I'm going to call the stream here. I'm pretty tired anyway, and this has been remarkable progress. Definitely moving in the right direction. And I have like so much of this stuff. I have an unopened one. This is what, a pound? I don't know if I have more in there. I think I don't know if I have more firm, but I definitely have like regular Super Sculpey. Anyway, so I'm going to call the stream here. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Remember to drop a like. Consider becoming a channel member, and you can join the Patreon for free or paid. Join free anyway in case YouTube ever decides to delete me. We're going to be back really soon. We have a scheduled stream on Wednesday, and if I get the chance to stream beforehand, I will do that as well. I will see you guys again later this week. You guys have a wonderful evening. Calling the stream here. This is day 9 for working on BrickBob Films camping episode. Can't wait to get back to filming, but we're going to have a few more days at this desk. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys have a good night.